Hi everyone. So I just wanted to say a few words on how to stay in the state. So first of all, the state of the wish fulfilled does not mean that you are never going to react in this state. So when we are thinking about the state of the wish fulfilled, and there is a kind of a conception around it that we're always going to be in this blissful, happy place of joy, and while we are desiring to be in a place like that, that is not actually what we have to continue to be in, because we are human and we are going to have reactions in that. But when we react to things, it is about overcoming that reaction in a way that we know that we still have everything that we want. So let's say, for instance, that we are manifesting desires like relationships or money or jobs or cars or houses or whatever it is that you are desiring to experience in your life. You have this assumption in your mind that you have it right now. So this can mean that you can be going along your day and then you start having this kind of feeling that you are not doing too good, that you are noticing that it's not here, and that in those moments, that's when you kind of stop to yourself and you jump onto your affirmation. So your affirmation could literally just be one affirmation to remind you that yes, I have this car, I have this house, I'm doing great, my day is going great, everything is going well, I am seeing the opportunities, my mind is open, my heart is open, my eyes are open to the opportunities of having this desire right now in my life. I am going home to my new house, I am driving my new car, and all of these kind of little affirmations that we keep telling ourselves in our mind. Now, if we think about Nevillegoddard and what he was saying about the state of the wish fulfilled, so he was manifesting obviously the famous trip to Barbados. So he was doing his imaginal acts, thinking about being in Barbados, and of course he was reacting. And then he had his teacher Abdullah, who was telling him that you are in Barbados. That is just it now. That is just a fact. So what he did then was he was walking around in his day and he was just embodying the person that was in Barbados. So that is kind of then what we do then when we are using our affirmations. So even if we just have one affirmation, you are saying this affirmation to bring yourself into that state in that moment in time. So if you are somebody who is manifesting a relationship, for instance, and you are going about your day and you're noticing that this partner is not here, or you're noticing that this specific person is not here, that is when you stop yourself in the moment and you say to yourself, okay, what am I feeling right now? I'm noticing that this person isn't here. And then you kind of redirect it in your mind and you say to yourself, but I am in this relationship. So if I'm in this relationship, then we are connected in this moment in time. So if I am thinking in this kind of way and I'm noticing the lack, it's only because that I am connected to this person right now in this moment in time. And maybe they are noticing or they are thinking about me in this moment in time. And so we're connecting in this moment in time, because remember, everything is connected. So even if it is a desired person, or even if it's somebody you've never met before, you're connected to this person already, meaning that they are on the journey as well too. So everything that we are seeing in our reality is really just, as I say before, it's the perception of how we are taking it and how we are believing everything to be true. But when we are wanting to overcome what we are actually seeing in our 3D reality, we are connecting to the fourth dimension of things, meaning that it is our affirmations that create the vibration within us, and then this vibration becomes who we are. Because it is becoming who we are, then we become this frequency that connects up to all of these desires, and we become this match that is able to maintain and sustain what it is that we want in our life. So the reason why we work on our beliefs is only because we have gone through traumas and things in our past that are in relation to what it is that we want to change. It does not mean that we have to work on our beliefs to manifest things that we want. Why we are doing all that is because we are wanting to become a stronger, more secure, more trusting person within ourselves as we are achieving these desires in our reality. So staying in the wish fulfilled means that you are declaring that you are this person that has what it is that you want. So, for instance, when we have things that are maybe a little bit down the line, if we are manifesting things like maybe, having a baby, or maybe there's a marriage, or things that we are knowing that there's going to be a little bit of a time to actually see it in our 3D reality, we know that we are still having these desires in our mind right now because we're telling ourselves in that moment in time that this is who we are. That is all staying in the state of the wish fulfilled is, meaning that you don't have to be beating yourself up if you have a little bit of a reaction. Remind yourself that you are human, and when we are human, we have these bodies that we are walking around in, and we are picking up on vibrations from everything in our environment. And when we pick up on vibrations in our environment, because we are vibrational beings, we can be picking up other people's energy as well too. So if we feel a little off, it does not mean that there's anything within us that we're doing wrong when we're manifesting. It could be simply that we're just picking up on a vibration somewhere. But this is why we do the regulation, because the regulation keeps us in that kind of calm way of being. Now, when we are in that calm way of being, we're able to differentiate what is going on. We know that it's not something to do with us. We know that either if we're feeling in a certain way because we're thinking about a certain person or a certain thing or a certain area in our life, it's only because we are disbelieving in ourselves in that moment. And there's something that we want to do there then to kind of overcome it, which means it comes into self-development. So that's why we're changing our beliefs. That's why we're saying our affirmations, and we're redirecting ourselves back into these states that are currently being talked about up here on the internet. But when we are talking about states, like states are simply just the thoughts that we keep thinking. So when we get ourselves into a state, it's because we keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking in this state. So when your body starts to feel a certain way, it's going to cultivate more things for you to think about, and that's either going to be negative or it's either going to be positive. But just as there is negative, there is positive, and so you're able to switch it around. But this self-regulation helps you to come into clarity in your mind because you're calming the whole system down. Once you calm the whole system down, you're able to think more clearly, you're able to dissolve the negative thoughts, and you're able to come back into the knowing that everything is just an awareness of where I am. So where am I right now? What am I thinking? Why am I looking at the lack? Maybe there's something that I can do right now to tell myself that everything is okay and that I have everything that I want. Because even when we look at how manifesting even occurs, I'm going to use the example here of Jim Carrey. Anyone who knows Jim Carrey will obviously know that famous story that he had about manifesting that $10 million check. Now, what he said was in an interview with Oprah that he would go up to some drive or whatever, that he would drive in his car and he would sit up in this place where he would park, and he would just kind of think in his mind, his visualizations, that he was this famous actor and that he was getting this money for what it is that he was doing. Now, he said at the time that he was completely broke, that he had there was nothing going on in his life to tell him that this was going to happen, but it made him feel better. Because it made him feel better, when he was driving home, he was able to say to himself, you know what, I do have these things. It's just that I don't have a hold of them yet. And for me, that quote is very, very significant when it comes to manifesting, because yes, we have it all in here. And just because we don't have a hold of it yet, it does not mean that it's not unfolding for us. But how it's unfolding for us can unfold in so many ways that we don't even know. So he wrote down that he wanted this desire of the $10 million check, but he didn't know that he was going to be going into a film like Dumb and Dumber. He didn't know he was going into these films that were actually going to create that $10 million check. He just knew that he was going to get a $10 million check for his acting services. But he didn't. He couldn't envision that he was obviously going to get the Dumb and Dumber movies and all that kind of thing, because he was just focusing on that desired end. And so these are the opportunities that came to him that he was ready for. And I'm not saying that you have to get into the readiness of what it is that you want, because we're always really ready for what it is that we want. But when we want to get into the state, when we want to continue to be in the state, understand that it isn't about being happy and positive and loving and blissful and all of this. And then when we have a little reaction, then we're out of the state, because we're always in the state. So if we fall into a state where we're reacting, that's a state as well too. So it's just a state of reaction, but it doesn't mean that it has any bearing on what it is that you are manifesting. So coming back into the state of the wish fulfilled means that you are just embodying the person that has what it is that you want now. So how do you get anything in life? You have to think that you already have it. So it's like buying a house even without manifesting. You still go to look at the houses, or renting an apartment or renting a house. You're going to look and rent, and you're going to look at where you're going to rent. And I know that these are action processes, but the action begins with the thinking of it, because you have this mindset that you want to be in this particular reality where you have this house, and where you're living in this house, and where you're living in this apartment. And it's the same with a car. So if you go and buy a car, they will give you a test drive. Why did they give you the test drive? Because they are allowing you to embody the feeling of the car, to see if it suits you, to see if you desire this particular car, because that's what we're doing when we're manifesting. We're getting into that kind of knowing that everything that we want is already within us, and all we have to do is just kind of embody it along the way. Now, it doesn't mean that your affirmations have to be perfect either. So simply just declaring that you have what it is that you want right now is enough. Just as just so as you keep your thoughts optimistic, and you know that it is unfolding for you, whether you have a bad day or not. Bad days do not define you. We're all human here, and so we're allowed to have emotions, and we're allowed to express them, and there's nothing wrong with that. And even if someone is, even if we're saying like don't dwell on them and things like that, I know that that can be easier said than done. However, when we are keeping our thoughts optimistic, it is a lot easier not to dwell on them. And then of course the self-regulation, the breath work, and the meditation as well to help. So I just wanted to make a quick video on that. Remember, a state is just what you are telling yourself. So just keep telling yourself that you are this person who has what it is that you want, that you are not even wanting what it is that you want. Get into that kind of knowing that you don't even want what it is that you want, because you have it. So it's not even that, that it's basically like, that this thing is going to happen, so you're telling yourself that you already have it, so that your mind and your heart and everything is open to the opportunity as it comes to you in your 3D reality. Because remember, everything is thoughts, it's vibrations, and we're just matching up to the thoughts and vibrations of what it is that we are desiring to create. So I'll leave that video there, and I will chat to you soon.